We have a third line day. We're in gate 35, the gate of progress, of change. And the third line is called collaboration. Ra said that this is a line that tells us what it is to be a human being. But it's not fourth line. It's not social collaboration. This is a third line sort of discovery collaboration. The lifetime learning here is the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. In the exaltation, we find benefic, I think that's how you pronounce it, benefic, which means favorable, encouragement of others that expands personal as well as communal progress. The ability to bring progressive change into others' lives. Trial and error. This is a keynote for our third lines. The 35 is always looking for the 36 because it's the 36 that has access to all that juicy solar plexus emotional energy. The 35 is the gate of experience. The 36 is the gate of inexperience. The 35 is the gate that is full, satiated. It's not really that hungry, except maybe for a new experience that it hasn't had. Otherwise, it's a bit bored, but it's full. 35s can get very bored because very often there isn't anything attractive enough or new enough to draw them into that next experience. The 35 says, I've been there, I've done that, I don't have to do it again. I really don't want to put myself through that nonsense again. In the detriment, we have the need to be the center that ignores the importance of others, the need to be the center for progress. There are two ways to collaborate with others. One can be very involved with other people's lives in a positive way, bringing progressive change into others' lives. And the other can simply need to have all those people there and yet still be the focus of attention, ignoring the importance of anyone else, still being beneficial. The benefits don't disappear with the detriment. But this is trial and error, and it's bonds made and broken. And there can be a lot of bruised people along the way with this person's process. But it's not personal. And part of the bruising comes from the fact that it's not personal. This third line will say, I'll collaborate with you, but it doesn't mean I love you. I care about you. And that doesn't mean I want to collaborate with you tomorrow. We'll just do it now. We'll have the experience now. I might not want to share with you tomorrow, but I want to share with you right now. That would be amazing. And if it works, great. But it doesn't mean I'll want to see you again because I'll have done it. And then I'll need to move on to something new. So that could be a very painful thing to hear for that other person. But it's part of the mechanic of this 35-3. And if it's entered into correctly, now what to do? The collective isn't personal. This collaboration isn't a great, wonderful social mechanism. This is third line, not fourth line. It's very good at superficial social connections, hooking up with someone in order to get through the experience, but then being ready to drop them. The 35 gets bored so quickly. Gate 5 in the line 3 is called compulsiveness. This is almost the anti-grounding gate, you could say. The 35 never wants to repeat anything, and the 5 here is stuck in its patterns and can't move on. It's going over the same thing again and again and again, which is correct for it because it's in logical circuitry, and that's what logical circuitry does. You don't really find a way of pinning a 35 down, but you'll know where to find gate 5 at any particular time of any particular day. But maybe there is a compulsiveness to always having to do something new. It's compulsively finding something new to do. Instead of being fixed in the pattern of the 5, it's actually fixed in the ever-changing landscape of the 35. Does this ground the 35? Or does it highlight that its compulsive nature is maybe, I don't know, out of balance, out of alignment. I don't know. Do you have this? If you do, please share it. I would love to know what your experience is if you'd like to share that. Because we have the genetic continuity between the 5-5 and the 35-5. So it's like, yeah, I'd love to know what you think about that. So Mercury moves into gate 20 at 10:07. You might find people are talking a bit more than usual, although Mercury is always somewhere, of course, but this 20th gate is a throat gate. And so it's very much a sort of in the now talking gate, because gate 20 is the gate of the now. Very often people with this gate, they've got something to say, they're just going to say it. Yeah, keep talking. It says, I am now, or not. And it can be quite chatty. It's a polite way of saying it. You also might find yourself putting off things that don't matter right now, that don't need to be done right now, focusing instead on what does, on what's right in front of you. The moon is still in gate 3. This is that the gate difficulty in the beginning. That's that sacral gate in the individual channel of mutation. And at 10:16, it moves into gate 27. It's moved, just gone into gate 27. This is the gate of caring in the sacral. It's the gate of taking care of yourself first and foremost, because you cannot take care of anyone else if you don't have the resources to do so. My hair is moving around. Whatever the resources are, you've still got to have them yourself before you can share them with anyone else. It's so easy to lose yourself in the caring of others, but easy isn't necessarily correct. And each one of us is here to love ourselves, and that means taking care of ourselves first. And at 1944, we move into gate 24, gate of rationalization, the return. This is an Ajna gate, and it has a natural and spontaneous process of transformation and renewal. It's the gate of the individual thinker, someone who is just bound to contemplate until a concept is clear. There might actually be a little bit of that compulsiveness here, because they're returning to it again and again and again. An individual gate has the potential to impact others with the spontaneous insights, and also it has the potential for melancholy. And an Ajna gate, of course, there's an anxiety as well. So all of these things, it can be a very vulnerable gate in some ways because of those energies coming through. And then at 5:12 tomorrow morning, we have gate 2. This is the gate of direction of the self in the G center, pointing down towards the sacral. This is the home of the magnetic monopole, which brings an innate sense of direction, independent of will, nothing to do with will. Who is Will? He's had far too much to say about my life, I tell you. It's the gate that guides us towards our destiny. Now, when we are able to surrender to it, we give up will. Will is fired. And we find beauty and love on our path, because that's what the direction is really leading us to. That's the bigger unfolding, is that, yeah, okay, we're in the backseat, we're witnessing it. What a play. And while we say, but life is so horrible, so many shitty things happen, I don't want to witness that. And yet, look at some of the films that people watch. The same people who will say that will go and watch Murder and Mayhem, or their computer games will be some kind of zombie apocalypse thing. They're pretty disgusting as well. They're disgusting. They're pretty violent. They have that blood and gut thing to them. So what do we class as being really bad? What do we not want to see? What do we think is real? Sometimes the illusion that I see out of my window seems very real. And yet, is it any different to watching something on the screen? It's just a different screen. Different screen. Okay, that's going a little bit in a direction I wasn't expecting. So I will say thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to have a lie down. I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching and listening. You know, all that juicy stuff. I so appreciate that you are joining me on this journey. I'm so thrilled at all the people who watch this, and I didn't expect that when I started on this journey a couple of months ago. So yeah, we've got a way to go yet, and I think I'm doing this until March. I think that's when my initial sort of commitment feels it's got the energy to go, but we'll see what happens between now and then. But yeah, for now, thank you very much. I'm done for today. Bye bye.